Hello everybody, this is Teo Tamara, and welcome back to Buried Stars. I'm gonna go ahead and load in to where we were before. We were right after Hyesung died. We're about to investigate the body, although this is something we already saw when we were trying to get the insanity route, so I am probably gonna skip through a lot of this.
대걸레자루 눈에 띄는 데는 다 봤어.
Okay, this is something we've also seen already. Alright, I forget what exactly happened.
화장실
Alright, we can move past this.
끌린 머리를 제외
언제
We do need to go over the alibis. Like, that is a thing that we need to do. Let's actually get the alibis. I love how they're called traces. As in, what traces did they leave of themselves? How the hell did I miss this before? Like, this is... Like, she looks so cute there. Tired as hell, but cute. Not they accused us of being S_Sunyan. I do love how sometimes being a bitch on social media, like, just replying in a way that's like being a diva is better for your mental health sometimes. Because sometimes we really do just need to crash out and diva out on social media a little. Like, they get it.
괜찮아?
You okay, Inha? I love how we can call them. I know I said this before, but I love how we can call them.
그럴 리가 있겠어?
Even though they're standing right in front of our face. Are you okay, Inha? How can I be okay?
서로 까는 게 일상이었지만 이건 아니야.
We were always at each other's throats, but it wasn't out of hatred. Oh, girl, you fucking hated his ass. Granted, Sale hated his ass more, but I'm not denying that you probably hated his ass.
아까만 해도 얘기를 했었는데
I was talking with him until minutes ago.
왜 이런 거지? 언제 그런 거지?
What happened to him and when?
모르겠어. 당장은 아무 생각도 안 나.
I don't know. Nothing comes to my mind at this moment.
화장실에 저렇게 처박아 놓은 건 또 왜냐고.
And why would someone leave him like that in the restroom?
어디 사이코패스라도 하나 숨어든 건가?
Do we have any lunatic killer hiding somewhere?
S 승연인가 진짜?
Maybe S_승연?
설마 그럴 리가?
That can't be.
설마는 지금 이 상황이 설마지.
Then how do you explain the situation?
설마 이런 일 터질 거라고 누가 생각했어?
Who would have imagined that this would happen?
믿을 수가 없어.
I can't believe this.
혹시나 했는데.
I didn't think Yu-hyuk would fail.
아무래도
Yes, I was hoping Yu-hyuk would talk him out of it.
그러고 보니
When I saw his next post, he actually seemed more agitated.
그랬었는데
When I went there based on my judgment, he would have rejected everything except their resignations from the audition.
아무래도
Yu-hyuk always says the right thing. He wouldn't suck up to anyone. Ju-young nodded with a worried look on her face.
그렇다고 해서
Regardless, I can't accept this situation. What happened to Seung-yeon was an accident, but Hye-sung's case was apparently...
알잖아요.
Don't think too deeply. As you said, let's get our order of events straight.
그래.
Yeah, we'd better focus on that. Otherwise, I might hyperventilate again. I don't want that to happen.
그때
Inha seemed very adamant.
네.
She wouldn't listen. She urged us not to follow her several times. Ju-young nodded and paused for a moment.
그러고 보니
Did she have to go after him so hurriedly?
그건
Inha seemed to have been annoyed by Hye-sung's post. She went after him right away as soon as she saw his post. The two of them looked at Inha. Inha was quietly staring at the crumbled exit. We should have a reason, but let's not make false assumptions.
그치만
But I'm so worried. Inha tends to act on her own behalf without discussing with us.
아시잖아요.
That's just how she is, you know.
맞아.
Yeah, that's true, a woman of action. Ji-young's face turned grim again. In a normal situation, we wouldn't have worried anything about her, but... At a time like this, she could be pushed into a corner.
확실히
Okay, this one we have seen.
그건
혹시
How were they, Inha and Sale? Because she was talking about how Inha and Sale met up with her at the front door. Neither of them got to see Hye-sung.
그건
Inha looked very confused. Sale seemed relieved for finding her. Sale didn't go to look for him in the first place. Yes, he seemed surprised to see me out there. Ji-young nodded slightly and straightened her posture.
그때
I told them briefly about what happened and came back to you guys with them.
그래서
After that, we all went together to discover that he was... Was there anything strange when you were out there?
그게
Well... Ji-young stroked her hair with a troubled look on her face. I was just focusing on catching my breath until I met Inha and Sale. I wouldn't have even noticed if someone had said something while standing right next to me. That's how bad it gets when it's really serious.
어떻게
Now we did see this.
그랬지.
I did not mean to click on that, but okay. Inha went after me. let's do this conversation anyway.
그랬지.
She left right after you came back. I would have to talk to Inha to find out how long the term was. Yu-hya quietly stroked his chin.
그리고
After that, Sei left and then Chi-young.
결국
Which means we all left the stage once. Yu-hyuk lowered his hand. You should be able to figure it out when you were done talking to everyone.
그래.
Hopefully. That is, if everyone's telling the truth. That, too. I just hope everyone will be honest with me.
그래.
We'll sort it all out when
그럼-
you're done talking. If there's a lie, you'll find the inconsistency. We actually want to talk about everything to do with Ji-young, because
혹시
we are going to say that there is nothing suspicious about this, because I think we said it was sus
글쎄.
before. Nothing special comes to mind. There's only one passage anyway, it's either here or there.
그래.
Right, there's nothing
그럼-
wrong with them coming back together. And we all had to move one by one because that's how Hyesung wanted it. Yu-hyuk stared at the door in the distance. If you're trying to look for things that are fishy, it will never end. We were all threatened and we all left the stage once.
그치만
But think about it. Hyesung was already in last place. He was bluffing and the statements made through Fatter were getting discredited.
맞아.
That's true. They have nothing to protect by hurting someone else.
도인아.
It's scary, but we need to keep our cool. That is, if we are to make it out of here in one piece.
나도
I was worried sick because she disappeared all too suddenly.
그래.
It's a good thing we found her quickly.
아무래도
We should have paid more attention to her. Things were crazy in here and out there. We were busy trying to deal with it. The two stared at Ji-young, who was standing on the other side. What I know is that she's always been a dependable person. That's why I forget sometimes about the illness she's been suppressing so hard.
그래도
She received treatment, she knows how to overcome it. But we're not in an ordinary situation. She's okay this time, but I should keep watching her. I think there's a certain place where she can calm herself down when the symptom occurs.
그래야겠지.
I'll pay more attention, but she might not tell us and disappear like the last time. We wouldn't know if she doesn't tell us.
그게
Okay, we saw this. We are not gonna believe such a coincidence.
그래.
Right, it's a coincidence. I shouldn't let it get to me. S_Singyeon had to do something since they built up everyone's expectations.
맞아.
You're right, we shouldn't fall for it. Yu-hyuk nodded and took a step forward. Their only goal is probably confusing us in the chaos. I won't let that happen.
맞아.
We shouldn't let them get to us like they did with Hyesung. He left the stage by himself and locked himself in the dressing room and suffered a misfortune.
괜찮아.
Don't worry, I'm staying with you guys. Yu-hyuk clenched Do-yoon's arm. Ooh.
그래.
Yes, we'll figure out a way to explain it. For now, we should focus on sorting out the timing.
왜 그래?
Now, we did see this before.
그런 거.
Inha waited at the door, but she was scared as hell. Of course she would be.
올해도
But you were scared. Why change the wording? What's the big deal?
아니거든.
That came out wrong. It's not like I kicked the door open and barged in. I don't want to mislead you. Inha mumbled to herself while trying to avoid Do-yoon's gaze.
야,
Hey, we should focus on figuring out exactly when I entered the dressing room.
그랬지.
Right, then let's start from the moment you left the stage.
그래.
Okay, hurry up before I forget. Do-yoon opened the watch to read Hyesung's post. After Yu-hyuk came back, Hyesung's post came up at 1:40 a.m. I went right after seeing it. I must have arrived at the dressing room at around 1:43 a.m.
그럼
And then I entered the dressing room after the tremor. Can you get the picture now? For now. 4 now or 3 now. Why don't you just hurry up? If she is suspected...
알잖아.
I'm just sorting out the thoughts. Everyone went through this. Then why don't you show it? Instead of looking like you're going for a kill. Inha lowered her arms that were akimbo. I don't think I've ever seen that word before. With hands on the hips and elbows turned outward. Okay, now I know what that means. I learned a new word today. Do-yoon cowered himself and thrusted his palms towards her. Look at the situation. We don't even know who did this.
그럼
Fine, then can you continue? Inha frowned and focused on her account.
하여튼
Anyhow, Hyesung was not in the staff quarter either. After finding nothing, I came out and happened to meet up with Seiru there.
그랬어.
After another tremor, he went looking for you. He said, for our safety, we should get out of there. You checked the dressing room, central corridor, and staff corridor. I felt leery when I found out that the staff corridor was empty too. It was strange, but I came out since I met someone. And then Sale, we do have to talk about this, but we've seen this conversation already.
그리고
Did you wait for Inha?
그럼
Did you wait until Inha came?
그렇죠.
Of course, I wasn't sure if I should come out of there immediately. I had no way of contacting her. I checked the door inside the dressing room, but it was locked as I had expected. The door that's connected to the center of staff corridor? It
그렇다니까요.
wouldn't budge. I think the door got stuck on the wall. Seiya pretended to turn the doorknob.
그리고
I got out of there after some time because it didn't seem wise to be staying there. Then I found Inha in the central corridor. So I guess you weren't looking for her when you met her.
맞아요.
You're right. I was glad because I could have missed her. And that's how you came back to the stage together. It was dark and narrow, so we got out of there quickly. At the time, we actually thought Hyesung might have come back to the stage after he got tired of throwing fits. I am actually not gonna end the conversation there because I want to talk about a couple things with you.
그랬지.
Inha said the dressing room was empty when she went in,
아마도
which means she got there after Hyesung left.
그럴 거야.
I can understand why she was confused. Yu-hyuk knitted his brows as if he was trying to recall the central corridor. Places accessible from the corridor: the dressing room, the restroom, and the staff corridor. The dressing room should be excluded since it was the starting point,
그럼
so that leaves the staff corridor and restroom.
애매한데.
She would have felt uncomfortable about entering the restroom. Maybe it's a good thing she didn't go there. Yu-hyuk stopped for a moment.
그래.
I agree. If Inha went in and encountered the attacker, it's a good thing she came out right away after meeting with Sale.
어쨌든
I guess Sale was confused too.
그랬었지.
The door was open, but no one was in there. By that time, Hyesung was already... Yu-hyuk slowly nodded while staring at Do-yoon.
솔직히
Nobody would have expected it at the time.
그랬지.
After some time, Sayed came out and met Inha and came back immediately. It's a good thing he did that. Do-yoon also nodded slowly.
맞아.
The person who attacked Hyesung might have been waiting for Sailor Inha to be alone, but they met each other quickly.
결국
Consequently, they protected each other, although they weren't aware at the time. Right now, we're gonna go ahead and end it. Everyone looked very tired.
막상 각이 나오는지 모르겠네.
I'm not sure if we can get the whole picture.
글쎄.
Well, what do you think, Do-yoon? Do-yoon tried to sort out his thoughts. All their stories danced around in his head.
그게
Well...
그
So Hyesung moved. Pretty much everybody went to the central corridor at some point.
혜성이를 공격한 무기는 100원짜리였어.
And the attacker has fled.
혜성이를 해치고 숨어 있다가
After attack,
세 사람이 돌아올 때
so they're like, we gotta go back to the stage. 'Cause what if the freaking attacker's still with us?
놀래라.
Because another tremor just happened. We are gonna contact the rescue team immediately.
바로 확인해 볼게.
I'll get right to it.
네, 부탁드려요.
Yes, please. Though you tried to call the rescue team. No signal.
도윤아, 뭐해?
Doyun, what are you doing?
구조대요.
I'm
또
trying to
신호가 아닌가요?
contact the rescue team, but there's no signal.
아, 그래. 여기 상황을 알려야지.
Oh, yes, we need to tell them about the situation here. Jesus, that was probably read objectively wrong, but okay. By me.
누군가한테 당한 것 같다. 그렇게 말해야 되나?
Should I tell them that Hyesung was attacked by someone?
사실이 그러니
Well, what else?
하실 말씀이라도 있으세요?
Do you have something to say?
어? 내가? 아니.
Me? No.
일단 난 안 돼. 다른 사람도 확인 좀 해줘.
Mine doesn't work. Can you guys try with yours? You can tell I just woke up. Sorry. Alright, they are gonna... That is that... the grinder selfie from Plughole. Is Plughole going to plug any holes today? I don't know. Okay, that might have been... I might have to cut that out. That might have been a little too crazy for YouTube. But we do got ourselves another conversation. But let's call the people standing right in front of us again, because that's fun.
워치 열심히 본다 싶다니 전화했네.
I thought you were busy reading things on the watch. What's going on?
계속 보고 있는 거야? 헤이터?
You still reading fatter posts?
마음이 힘들면 너무 많이 보지 않는 게 좋을지도 몰라.
If they make you feel unpleasant, you'd better stop reading them.
아예 무시할 수도 없지. 사진 올라온 것만 봐도
I can't ignore all of them, especially the one with that photo.
출처 불명확하잖아.
We are not sure where it was taken.
아무리 봐도 여기야.
I've looked at it again, but it's apparently this place.
그 사진 보고 다시 여길 보니까 새삼 위험해 보여.
Seeing that photo, this place looks more dangerous than ever.
도윤이 너도 조심해야 돼.
Though you need to be careful too.
고개 너무 숙이고 다니지 마.
Don't forget to keep your head up. Me?
워치 보면서 다니니까 위에도 조심할 것 투성이야.
Yeah, because you can't take your eyes off your watch. All dangerous things are hanging up there.
너까지 다치기라도 하면
If you do not wish to get hurt, is that a threat?
그런 일 안
I know.
생기게 조심할게.
Thanks, I'll be careful with that. I was like, okay, that read a little weird.
그래. 꼭이야.
Yes, please. That's that photo of the collapse site. That's... the cops. Ji-young looking like those low quality Danganronpa anime screenshots in that one. I was tired of seeing Yu Hyuk on the news. To be fair, this photo does not catch his good side. Like, he legit looks chopped. A lot of these photos do not put Yu Hyuk in a flattering light, like, at all. I'm sorry. Alright, hidden passages. The rescue team said that there are not hidden passages. It was also confirmed by the rescue team that I guess this is the unavoidable reality.
그렇다고 볼 수 있죠.
For some things, we just need to give in. It's good to have hope, but it is the reality. The rescue team even had the building plan. There's no reason for them to lie.
혹시
I just wanted to make sure of it since B-Stars did so much unplanned construction.
그거야.
Of course, I want to believe that there's another passage and that we can get out through that passage. We saw that there was no such thing and it was confirmed by the rescue team, but I still want to believe it. Sale shook his head, though Yun could hear him gulping.
어쩔 수 없죠.
There's no such passage. Hyesung's attacker must also be hiding somewhere away from us. They won't have the guts to come out in front of us. But if their hiding place collapses, we'll be safe. Honestly, you're kinda real with that.
도윤이 형,
The judges really liked you. Honestly, I still don't know why. I thought they would evaluate the entire band, but they focused more on individuals.
도윤이 형.
They would have recognized the band itself if the entire performance was good. Masquerade wasn't one of them. The other members weren't attractive. Do-yoon cleared his throat. Sale stopped for a moment, but he began to continue again.
그치만
Isn't it better to remain in the show by yourself than getting eliminated with the rest of the members? Don't you have a purpose for joining the audition?
맞아.
I did have a purpose, although it didn't work out.
네?
Why? Because people are calling you a betrayer? If Seung-yeon had that in mind while shooting the show, you can't avoid it.
나는
You don't have to explain it to a staff member.
알겠어요.
I know you didn't even want to. Seiyu clicked his tongue and rubbed his feet against the floor. Thank you for looking at it that way.
그게요.
I might as well do some sucking up. Oh, so he's just...
어?
Were you sucking up to me?
사실은
I was just speaking positively and factually. I guess you could call it that. We need to stick together in face a crisis, right? Not Sale just straight up admitting to kissing his ass right there. That is kind of funny. Not everything can't be
아닌
taken
것
at
같다.
face value. That is a clunky sentence. We can't take their word for it. It's strange that they would upload the photo to reveal their whereabouts.
들어봐봐.
That's because we've been calling them a liar all this time. But then they are more likely to be found out with that much clue. Maybe they began to realize that their words are losing credibility. Ian had felt upset, so she took a deep breath.
그래.
Yeah, no point in arguing with you. I prefer that theory rather than being trapped together with a psychopath.
그래도
We shouldn't let our guard down, though. We need to stick together no matter what.
그래.
You're right. They can't get us as long as we're together. Even if someone else comes out other than S_Seungyeon, nothing changes.
맞아.
That's it. We shouldn't give them another chance. Ian had looked around at the stage with a worried look on her face.
어쨌든
What we know for certain is that Hyesung was murdered by someone. And S_Seungyeon said you were the next target, Do-yoon. Ian had gulped and patted his arm. But don't worry, you have people around you.
그래도
I think it's possible, though.
그래?
Do you think there might be a hidden passage? Inha rubbed her forehead again. She raised her head again to face Do-yoon again.
말하자면
More like wishful thinking, though. I wish there was one.
그러면
We could exit through the passage and be saved. But to be realistic, I doubt its existence.
정리하면
So what I'm saying is I'm just imagining all kinds of possibilities.
나는
Same here. I'm afraid I might have given up too early when there is much more to explore and discover.
그런 거야?
You were also full of crazy thoughts just like me. Ina blurted out and surveyed the surroundings. If there's no other passage, how are we going to explain S_Singyan?
헐.
Let's think of it whatever the way she was saying before for right now.
일단 해보자.
I think we should leave it at that for now, for the sake of our mental health.
맞아.
We can barely pull ourselves together in here. I think we should believe what we see and move forward. Inha wrapped her arms around her shoulders. Making things more vague won't help us. This is not a mission we have to solve anyway.
뭐야 진짜?
Being close doesn't necessarily mean knowing everything.
그래도
They don't have to know everything just because you guys are close. How much you open up yourself to others is a very personal choice.
그거지.
Exactly, it's not like you have to know about every personal matter. My crew members are too busy practicing to ask annoying questions. That's the modern social relationship, right?
어쨌든
I really liked my crew members. They accepted me into their family when my self-confidence hit rock bottom. Even after joining B-Stars, they continued to cheer for me.
말하자면
My crew is my home, so to speak. I even wrote the Dance Crew Studio as my official address when filling out the B-Stars application form.
그래도
Still, I didn't completely open up myself to them. It's not like I have to, right?
그래.
Yeah, that depends. I lived quietly until joining the audition. That's all there is to it, and I don't want others to know about my life. After grumbling for a while, Inha closed her eyes. Then how dare they mess with my crew? If they have questions, they can ask me when I get out.
그러면
Should we rather talk about B-Stars? Like how Doyoon was loved by all the judges.
그랬었지.
That favor lasted until the preliminaries.
어?
Why? It wasn't that bad in the finals either. I know it's incontroversial, but you still made it to the top 5.
그래도
Good or bad, they did shed light on me often. That doesn't mean you're thriving on the show, okay? Inha stopped talking and leered at Doyoon.
혹시
By all means, are you expecting any warm consolation from me?
그런
From you? I'm not insane yet.
왜 그래?
Oh, be honest, I'm good at comforting people. Since when?
왜?
As of now?
그렇지?
I guess it is comforting to chit-chat like this.
그거지.
I told you, so who's good at comforting people? I practically gave you the answer. What's your answer? Aw, that was cute.
글쎄. 글쎄.
We can't conclude that there's no passage yet. Yesung's attacker is out of our radar, though.
그랬지.
It cannot be a perfect crime. There must be a clue. Yu Hyuk looked around while fiddling with his watch.
어쨌든
Whatsoever, I'm not ready to give up on that possibility.
맞아.
I agree. I want to get out of here as soon as possible.
어쩌면
Maybe there was a passage, but it disappeared. They looked everywhere, but there was only concrete wreckage. If we see anything that could be used as a passage, we should check it. Regardless of what awaits there.
설마
Do you really think S_Singyun's response was really a forewarning?
아무래도
If we only take the outcome into account, it does look like a meaningful forewarning.
혹시
Do you think it was a coincidence? I'm not sure which is the case. Doyoon buried his head in one hand. Yu Hyuk stared at Doyoon with a worried look on his face.
도윤아
Yeah, don't think too much. How? After what happened to Hyesung?
어쨌든
We need to endure this until the rescue team arrives. As long as we stick together, no one can hurt us. Everyone must be confused dealing with this in their own way. If one of us breaks down, it will affect everyone else. Do-yoon raised his hand and stared at Yu-hyuk. Their eyes met. The troubled look on Yu-hyuk's face was real. I know that. I'm just a little confused.
나도요.
Of course, you're not the only one. But we need to pull ourselves together. So Yu-hyuk disappeared for a while for several years, and we just couldn't resist the flow of it. We really couldn't.
그랬어.
And we couldn't refuse the roles. We've actually made it to the finals thanks to them.
그래.
Yes, I'd be lying if I said I could have made it here even without them. Just like a basic template, we were given images to show the audience so easily from the beginning.
그렇다는 건
Unlike the time you disappeared from the world, you're showing firm resolve this time.
그렇지.
I might have lived my whole life meaninglessly if I didn't change my mind back then. Yu-hyuk quietly stared at Do-yoon. After a brief silence, Yu-hyuk spoke again.
그리고
So I came to Beastars and I haven't been myself ever since. I didn't know what I was wanting when that's the most important thing in the world.
뭐랄까.
Everything was different from what I had expected ever since joining the show.
그건
It's still the same. Yu-hyuk nodded quietly. Yeah, so we were on a really unpredictable foggy path. He wanted to avoid excessive interest from the media and the public after he joined the audition. Curious past was interesting.
어떻게?
I could see why the others were not happy with that.
맞아.
I could see why the other members felt depressed. The difference in screen time for us was significantly different.
아,
That's very typical of you. What can you do with how they feel about it? It was you who had to confront the malicious rumor because of that. Oh, that. Judges' positive comments, different amount of running time on TV. There were more attacks on him as if they were the reaction of it.
그치만
You weren't responsible of all the things happened to you in your band. Okay, that's another clunky as hell sentence. Can you really say I wasn't responsible at all? It'll only poison you if you let them get to you. I'd rather not think about that at this time. Yu-hyuk patted Do-yoon on his shoulder. Yes, all I think is just that I want to escape here safely.
근데
S_Senghyun is the only one who can disclose the info.
아무래도
I guess the only way is for S_Senghyun to reveal it themselves. Right now, the only one who took the photo can see it.
맞아.
Right, although it won't happen. The best way is for S_Senghyun to reveal the original photo's metadata. When a file is uploaded to social media, its metadata is normally lost.
그러면
So there's no way for us to see it. Do-yoon clicked his tongue while looking down at his watch. With her hand on the side of her head, Ju-young nodded. The same thing happens when you send it through Messenger.
글쎄요.
Looks like we are at a dead end. That's the situation we're in right now. We can't let them keep fooling us. There must be a way. I like how tech literate this cast is for the most part. And, well, except Do-yoon, but like that was already a whole plot point.
도대
The timing is not necessarily a forewarning, we're saying.
글쎄요.
I'm not sure if I can completely agree with that. It didn't happen exactly as S_Senghyun had said.
어?
No, but Hyesung was wait.
그렇구나.
S_Senghyun made it sound like they were going to murder him at 2 a.m.
네.
According to their threat, someone would die at 2 a.m. But what we found at 2 a.m. was Hyesung's lifeless body, which
그런가?
means the forewarned murder happened before 2 a.m. Do-yoon continued while rubbing the back of his neck. Although it might not be enough to conclude that they were completely wrong. Right, I'm not even sure we should be making this kind of reasoning. But something doesn't add up.
왜일까?
The rumor about her. We totally get it.
네.
I think I know what you're talking about.
아시잖아요.
You know I'm the betrayer conceived by Beastars.
그래.
I thought you would know that even if I stepped forward, I would just end up hurting other people.
결국
In the end, I'd probably end up shying off. The two silently stared at each other. What I dreaded the most wasn't the rumor itself.
그럼
Then, people began to believe it as soon as the rumor broke. I felt very offended.
난
Love, scandal, money, retirement, I never thought about any of those. I had a dream, I had a goal, that's all I could think of.
그래.
That's why I was annoyed. Annoyed at people's prejudice that an unpopular idol would no doubt try to seduce a rich guy and retire. People who were disappointed in me, reporters that were throwing obscene words at me, and Ji-young shuddered for a moment. Me, who couldn't say anything against their accusations.
알잖아요.
Anyone would know if they've worked with you side by side about what kind of person you are or what kind of dream you had when you joined the show.
글쎄.
Well, I'm not so sure. I don't think I've come out of it yet.
그건
You're talking about Yu Hyuk's university days. He simply left school and stayed home. That's not the same as disappearing.
그건
I guess they were comparing Yu Hyuk's current position to his past, and they added the story about his late father, Byung-hee Lee. Oh, I guess it must have been an unusual circumstance after his father's death. Ji-young's face briefly turned grim. What do you think Yu Hyuk had in mind when he joined Beastars?
아마도
I guess he put lots of thought into it just like anybody else. To pass or fail in an audition after showing all they've got would be very challenging, even fearful for anyone. Ji-young nodded after a brief pause.
그럴까?
Maybe Yu Hyuk had been struggling with that fear during that tough time. Other people might envy Yu Hyuk for having a famous father, but for him it became a burden he had to deal with.
네.
I often sensed that while talking with him. I guess his sophisticated mind came from that background, the heavy burden and his struggles with it.
그건
The decision came from the judges. It's not like you had any strings to pull. It's not your fault that the judges thought highly of you.
네.
I don't think I did anything wrong either. It's just that their decision was totally unexpected and resulted in specific consequences for my life. Ji-young quietly patted Do-yoon on his arm. Your surroundings change even when you walk. If you didn't want any changes, you shouldn't have done anything at all.
나도야.
But remember, both you and I decided to move on.
저기
Ji-young,
너는?
I'm listening. Do-yoon couldn't continue. Ji-young folded her hands together after looking at him for a while.
도윤아.
Do-yoon, let's focus on what's at hand. If we fall here, that's the end of everything. We can grab another opportunity only after we get out of here. I am now going to end the conversation. Alright, not much to do here. S_Seungyeon is not here.
그냥
S_Seungyeon is just someone out there.
역시 S 승현은
S_Seungyeon is just a deluded someone out there. After a brief moment, Plughole replied. It could be the other way around. Plughole's also saying things at random. Do-yoon bit his lip and sent a new message. just keep at it. From what they had talked about so far, there should have been something that would undermine S_Singyeon's claims. What would render S_Singyeon unable to rebut? I'll just keep demanding S_Singyeon to reveal the metadata of their photo.
가장 강력한 증거처럼 내민 건 자기 자신이니까.
They posted the photo as evidence of their presence here.
촬영한 위치나 시간을 보면 발목을 잡힐 수도 있어.
We might be able to catch them by checking the location and time of the photo. The message is stopped there briefly.
메타 정보로 공격하고 다 좋다고. 그런데 왜?
Using the metadata to trap S_Singyeon is all good, but why is he doing this? Also, I think we can go past this.
그럼 진짜
We've already seen this.
검증한다고? S승연의 사진. 이건 틀림없이 어두워서
Okay, we've seen this already.
구조대가 벨소리 바...
We are gonna go check that watch. He looked at the rest of the group. They looked worried and confused. Do-yoon tucked his chin and opened his eyes.
S승연이 올린 사진
The photo S_Singyeon uploaded.
혜성이 워치에서 나온 건지도 몰라요.
Maybe it was taken by Hyesung's watch. Their eyes widened as he had expected.
서혜성은 죽었잖아요.
Right, we're gonna go check the watch.
역시나 후달리.
공모 같은 건 말이 안 돼.
Conspiracy, no way.
사진을 빼. 백업. 사진 찍으면 클라우드로 저장한댔지.
Backup. When a photo is taken, it is stored in the cloud.
거기 접근이
The photo can be
가능하면
downloaded by...
사진을 빼낼 수 있어.
Okay, no, we've seen this already.
이렇게 사진을 올린 거였어.
Now we're back on the stage. Identifying the method.
좀 어때요?
How are you doing?
페이트 보고 있었어.
Just checking fatter.
S승연 말이야.
Regarding S_Singyeon,
예고였는지
did they really do
아무
something, or
말이나
was
하던
it,
게 적중한 건지.
or was it just a coincidence?
멋대로 얘기했다가 맞은 거면 자기도 당황했을 것 같은데.
If it was just a coincidence, they must have been very baffled.
그런 기색은 없는 것 같네.
But they weren't.
글만 봐서는 알 수 없기도 하고요.
We can't tell just by reading their posts.
그러네. 화면 뒤에선 어쩌고 있을지 모르지.
You're right, we never know what they do behind the screen.
대체 누굴까요? S 승용.
Who do you think S_Singyan is?
다들 궁금할 거야. 당사자만 빼고.
That's everyone's question except for S_Singyan themselves. Aww. Something smells of fish. That's like, not gonna lie, that is kind of a funny way to say something sus.
확실히
The staff was lazy as hell about the password policy, keeping
맞아요.
all the things the same. They were too complacent in their work. Retrieving the watches was so important they could have factory reset it later. I'm surprised to hear you saying the word factory reset. I thought you were a digital illiterate, I mean analog.
혹시
You just spoke your mind.
아니야.
No, listen, I wanted to talk about something else. The watches were given during the first round of the finals. All the contestants at that time also learned about the password policy and accounts. Do-yoon got Ji-young's point.
그런가요?
The top 10, they all know. I'm not sure if they were aware of other contestants' accounts.
분명해.
But one thing is for sure, the top 10 clearly knew about the password policy. But 10 people isn't a very small pool of suspects. Ooh, report event. I don't think we've seen this one yet.
도윤아,
Do-yoon. With her hand on the side of her head, Ji-young asked Do-yoon,
여기 올 때
what place did you
여기가
aim to finish
목표였어?
when you joined the show?
거기까진 못 정했었어요.
I didn't think much about the ranking.
생방 갈 거라고는 생각도 못 했고요.
I didn't even think I would make it to the live stage.
거기다 혼자 올라왔지.
On top of that, you came up alone.
그건 정말 꿈에도 생각 못 했네요.
That was completely unexpected, not even in my dream.
누나는 목표가 몇이었어요?
What about you? Which place did you aim for?
당연히 우승이지.
First,
1위.
first place, of course.
연습생 때부터 목표는 항상 높게 잡았어.
I always set my goal high since I was a trainee.
어떻게 가능해요 그런 게?
How do you manage to do that?
할 수 있겠다 싶은 데서 한 단계 위로 목표를 잡아.
You just have to aim one level higher than your realistic goal.
일단 한 걸음씩 올라가는 걸 최우선으로 해.
Then make it a priority to advance one step at a time toward the goal.
한 걸음씩.
One step at a time.
비러브드 땐 구호도 있었어.
There was even a team slogan during my beloved years. Ji-young fell silent and stared at Do-yoon for a moment.
한 걸음씩 올라가면
One
꿈을
step at a time toward our goal. Ji-young mumbled to herself.
팀 같은 목표를 보고 있었네요.
You all walked toward the same goal.
꿈을 이루는 게 1순위였어.
My dream was my first priority,
그건
and it still is.
지금도. 그치만 다시 시작하려니 아무 데서도 받아주질 않았어.
But now that I wanted to start over, no one accepted me.
방법은 여기 오디션뿐이었지.
This audition was the only way to restart my career.
무섭진 않았어요. 다시 사람들 앞에 서는 거.
Weren't you scared of standing before the audience again?
기가 꺾이긴 했어.
I had my tail down.
또 그때처럼 난타당하면
I wondered if I could
됐을지.
withstand another round of public criticism.
비슷한 상황을 만나긴 했었잖아요.
You've encountered a similar situation. Ji-young slowly raised her head.
달라졌더라고. 내가
I found myself somewhat reacting differently.
그때보다 더 단단해진 부분이 있었어.
I've grown stronger than before.
가끔 넘어져도 포기하지 않으려는 마음이.
An unyielding spirit to any obstacles.
난타 당하면서 더 명확한 형태가 되었달까?
In the flood of criticism, my spirit began to take a more definitive form.
형태라면 창이에요? 아니면 방패?
More definite form. Was it like a spear or a shield?
재미있는 질문이네, 한도윤.
Interesting question, Doyun. Ji-young took a step back, running her hand through her hair.
방패였어. 여기가 무너지기 전까진.
More like a shield, at least until the collapse of the stage.
무너지고 난 지금은요?
And now,
세상 외면해선 안 됐던 일들을 돌아보게 됐어.
I began to look back at my past, which I shouldn't have ignored.
그래서일까?
Maybe because of that, I'm beginning to see my spirit more like a
산 모양이
spear.
잡히는 느낌이야. 근데
Maybe they didn't know because they had no interest.
아무래도
Nobody knows about other people's family matters unless they were told. Anyway, many of the posts were written just for the heck of it. Yeah, who would want to miss a chance to throw a comment at a time like this? You sound experienced. I thought you didn't know much about Fatter. I'm learning my life lessons from this accident. Well, I guess it's not just about Fatter. Ji-young dangled her arms from her waist.
확실히
Ju-hyuk is keeping quiet about it, so we shouldn't say anything more about it. Let's just focus on what we were trying to figure out for now. You know, about S_Seungyeon.
역시
아마도
This is not their first time doing this shit. They are experienced and know how to hide.
그래.
I agree. They created an anonymous account and hid their IP before appearing. I don't think this was S_Seungyeon's first time. This one knows what they're doing. There are lots of trolls, but only a few would go through the trouble of obscuring their IP.
그럼
They set up the whole thing using their past knowledge and experience. I don't think they came in as prepared. They have been acting quite impulsively, but never forgot to hide their tail. For S_Seungyeon, this wasn't the first time. I'm sure of it.
그때
If they were going to take it back, why did they give it to us in the first round? I think the deal was that we start wearing them at the start of the finals.
그럴까?
Maybe they regretted giving it to us. Fortunately, they let us use it personally during the second round.
그래요.
The top 7 left after 3 got eliminated from the first round,
결국
which means that the 3 only got to wear them and turn them in soon after. Ji-young tapped the watch with her fingernail. I didn't know I'd be relying on the watch like this. Regardless of its quality, it's the only thing that connects us with the outside world.
그런 건
No, we kinda have to have this conversation and we get a report event.
S 승연이 한 장학금 얘기.
The scholarship that S_Seungyeon mentioned.
형, 그걸 계속 곱씹고 있어?
You still chewing over it? Ju-hyuk groaned.
너한테는
I'll tell you
말해줄게.
what happened. There was a brief silence.
아버지 이병희 선생님은 항상 자립을 강조하셨어.
Okay, I think we actually did see this before. I just remembered that we did see that one for sure before.
대체
They are sharing and delivering all kinds of stories and rumors as if they are excited. It's because they are getting fervent feedback for what they post regardless of its truth.
아무래도
It's gotten worse ever since Sim-yeon talked about the past. Kyu-hyuk looked at In-ha while nodding. He couldn't see her face because she was facing the opposite direction.
혹시
You want to know what I think? Whether they look similar or have the same name, it doesn't really matter.
아닐 거야.
If In-ha says no, then it's no. Even if she was lying, she must have her own reasons. What's important is how we see ourselves.
그래.
That just sounds like you.
응.
In-ha's avoiding an answer. That's another way of dealing with the situation. We could do the same, you know.
장학금 얘기 내가 너무 처지게 했지?
I must have bored you with my depressing story.
미안해.
I'm sorry.
복잡한 상황에서.
I know how troubled you already are.
아니야 형.
No,
그런 말 할 것
you,
없어.
you don't need to say that.
페이터에서 저렇게 떠들 만한 일 아니야.
It's not really a big deal, unlike what everyone says on Fatter. Do-yoon paused.
근데
By the way, what about your
어머니께서?
mother?
그 난리 겪을 때 아무 말씀도 없으셨어?
When you were going through the hardships, didn't she do anything to help you? Yu-hyuk raised his head after a brief silence.
나나 어머니나 같은 처지였어.
We were in the same shoes.
선생님께 묻힌 채로 버티면서 사는.
He deserted and forgot her too, just like me.
묻혔다는 뜻은
Forgot.
선생님의 위광에 가린 사람들. 빛 근처에 지는 그림자처럼.
We were forgotten and buried under his presence as his bright light gave darker shadows.
자유도 경제권도 없었어.
We had no support, no money.
함께 어려움을 버티는 길밖에 없었지.
We had to survive on our own, relying on each other.
그런 건 학대잖아.
That's abuse. Okay, then we did. We totally saw this one too. Because I just remembered reading that line in a very similar way in a different part. I can understand why he doesn't know that.
Huh?
You took time off from school because of your family accident, but how?
그게
You heard them. There was literally no interaction between us. Yu-hyuk faintly smiled at Do-yoon, who was tilting his head.
도윤아,
You must have had many friends.
아니야.
No, but why?
그건
School friends, alumni, and my acquaintances. I never talked about my family to them. I never initiated talking to them. Rather, I always kept my distance from them. You'll have a whole different perspective when you know my reason. Yu-hyuk lowered his head as if feeling embarrassed. Is it because of the family culture?
그랬지.
You know my father's family. They're ashamed of both me and my father. I guess he didn't like his family either since he never took me there.
이거면
As if they were strangers.
그렇지.
None of our relatives even came to his funeral. Seriously, that's unbelievable. Now I'm getting criticized again because I've joined B-Stars and people started to find out about my family background. Judging someone's class and forming a relationship, I understand that. You provided them nothing for their judgment of you then. Sad, huh? Was basically isolating myself from people by putting a wall around me. Well, that could be a virtue of artists. Do-yoon continued while pulling at his own earlobe.
나는
I wasn't all that sociable either. I learned from B-Stars that you frequently moved.
그랬었지.
My dad, he was always on a business jet taking care of all the dirty, dangerous, and demanding tasks. And I had to bounce around my relatives' houses.
혹시
Were your relatives nice to you?
그거야.
Of course, but I didn't feel comfortable. After creating the band in high school, I rarely went home. I know it sounds corny, but I was feeling lonely. Let's just say you were a solitary person.
그래.
Yes, that. But the thoughts and emotions from that moment, I think they helped me write songs. Is that why you mentioned the virtue of an artist? See, I'm pretty good at comforting others.
그래.
Okay, let's say you are. Maybe I was a bit off point. Anyways, the things people love about you right now.
그렇지?
Maybe they were created during the time of your isolation.
이해했어.
I know what you mean, thank you. I'm okay now.
그렇다면
Okay, we saw part of this.
그래도
Still, could she really be S_Singyeon? It's not like she can come back to the show by doing that.
맞아.
As you said, we shouldn't jump to conclusions yet. She was on bad terms with Hyesung and she had a watch. That is the only thing that bothers us.
있잖아.
Hyoju was eliminated in the first round of the finals, right?
그래.
Yes, and that result was mainly driven by Hyesung's fans. Yu-hyuk crossed his arms while nodding. We'll think of it as a possibility for now.
그렇다면
그랬지.
That was absurd. The editing team hacked at the scenes that didn't even mean anything.
당연하지.
The editing excerpts are capable of creating issues out of nothing. Ina continued while shaking her head. My question is the stalker related to me?
설마
If that's the case,
아니야.
isn't it just the stalker's unrequited love? That's true, but I'll keep what you've said in mind. Right, we should go into details then. And then we can skip this because we kind of had to do it last time we had this conversation.
한도윤
Did you see it too? It somehow found its way to me. That worked pretty nicely. What do you think? The name and vibe, it's different from yours.
아니야?
Well, okay, it's over then?
그렇지?
I guess it is, right?
잠깐.
Are you questioning me?
어?
Is that what it sounds like? Ina dropped her eyes for a moment. The post of my school alumni and another photo. Ina raised her head after a brief moment.
그거는
Think whatever you want.
응?
You want me to judge?
그래.
I just don't want to say anything.
그럼
I'll stop then.
어?
Pulling back now after all those questions. You don't like people digging up dirt behind your back.
저기
I wasn't curious, but worried about you.
됐어.
It's none of your business. Worry about me when everything's revealed later.
이야.
Foreign IP trying to play smart? Africa? Seriously far. S_Singyeon is clearly afraid of something.
그래.
If what they said was true, then there's no reason for them to hide.
그래.
Yes, they blabbered on while pretending to be Singyeon. The photo was stolen from Hyesung. We'll be able to figure out their identity if we keep tracking. The two of them slowly nodded at each other. They must pay for the mayhem they created. We're almost there.
어?
So why wasn't it taken care of if reports had already been made?
아무래도
We might have to wait a little longer. I can't wait to see them exposed. They should pay for their devilish mouth.
아닌 것 같아.
I won't let them escape.
그래도
Considering the way they've been blabbering on, I don't think they'll burrow that fast. Yeah, we'll stay put until they get caught.
진짜.
Why do you think the law exists if we're capturing a scumbag like them?
Hmm?
Why now we're talking about the law.
그래.
Yes, the law. The important thing is to punish them severely.
그게 아니면
That's the only way to break the damn chain. Inha, are you okay? It is starting to give Tsurugi Kinjo from Danganronpa another, just a little bit. But I don't
Yeah.
think Inha would do half the shit that Kinjo did. What do you think? Are you okay with the current situation? I'm pissed off. Don't get agitated. That's what they want.
됐어.
I know. What's the point of getting angry here? You should also pray that their identity is revealed ASAP.
그거는
We all received them during the finals. The watches.
그랬었는데.
Although it took some time to unlock useful functions, loved the lack of capitalization.
어쨌든
Didn't they retreat them by saying how they needed to tweak them? That's why the watch was turned into a piece of crap after I got it back.
결국
There was nothing working except fatter. And you barely used fatter. I never had any passion for it.
그렇다니까.
That's very typical of you. Anyhow, all contestants must know the password then. We've narrowed down the pool further, right?
글쎄.
Who knows? What if the premise that S_Singyeon is one of the contestants is wrong? Right, we might end up going back to square one.
그럼
그럴지도.
We could forget the password. It could happen.
아니 잠깐.
Hey, I'm talking about what happened in the past, not now.
Hmm?
In the past, when? Shortly after I received my watch.
아니야?
Frankly, the password didn't concern me since it was given to us, right? Maybe because of that, I had a hard time remembering it.
어쨌든
So I was lost in thought with the watch on my wrist. Then a staff member came to me and told you the password?
야
Don't you cut in. But yes.
혹시
A fatter account manager. Did the person look familiar?
아니었어.
No, not at all. So you get it now. Some staff members do know about the watch policy. It felt odd at the time, but it feels worse now. Yeah, so we fully did see this already. We also saw this, and this.
그게 이제 알겠어.
I guess Kyuhyuk was a truly mysterious person to the core.
그럴까?
I can't believe I didn't know about the accident.
그거야.
Kyuhyuk tends to draw the line, you know. Although we barely notice it because he's kind most of the time. I sense that he likes to keep distance from people in a very polite manner. Do-yoon continued while looking at the watch.
그래도
I guess the post wasn't intended for criticizing him.
네.
Looks like he's made no enemies so far, unlike Hyesung's friends who were all out to get him. I guess he's always in first place for a good reason.
한마디로
Everything just works out for him, be it career, money, or fame. Sale stopped mumbling and flinched after sensing Do-yoon's gaze.
그리고
He's also lucky. I just envy his everything, talent, luck, and family background. Although he's now just one of the survivors waiting for rescue.
네?
How did you take it?
저기
How did you respond? Because we kind of thought, oh, everyone probably had a good reason.
네?
Me? Yeah, if she treated you like that, I wonder what it would have been like.
어쩔 수 없지.
Of course she treated me like that. I was angry, but I had to bear with her. It's true that I'm not a skilled veteran in this field. Sade shrugged his shoulders. That's what you
내
think.
생각은
You did so many things throughout the show. You don't deserve to be treated like a tool.
도윤이 형,
Thank you for saying that. I would have felt much better at workplace if she had been just like you.
그거야.
I'd be thankful if that's how you feel. Sale slowly nodded. Do-yoon could barely see his eyes behind his glasses. Some people think they are of a higher class. told us to properly serve the contestants.
대체
Who would say such a thing?
설레성.
That's what Hyesung used to say. Do-yoon didn't know what to say. The staff weren't happy with Hyesung either. He ignored and looked down on us as if he were better than us.
어?
Scope of information.
아니었어.
It doesn't sound like something they would do. If they get caught, they won't be able to cope with the aftermath of compensation and stuff.
정답이죠.
Beastar's collapse, not the production company. Background checking is their job. If they get caught wreaking havoc at a time like this, they might have to face a lawsuit.
맞아.
For them to act out of spite, the stakes are too high. Save spoke again after a brief pause. It's better to just keep one's mouth shut when the situation is very unstable. Even if S_Singyeon was involved, I'm sure they did it on a personal level. The agency will never come forward to admit it.
분명해.
Now, we were talking about Inka's stalker, and it would be useful to remember what we just
그래요?
talked about. What is it? I think it would be helpful to know. It might have something to do with this case.
나도야.
I agree with you. I'll just tell you how they try to access the information. Ji-young began her story while staring at her feet.
들어봐.
They intentionally approached the manager or agency staff, making an approach completely disguised as coincidence. Some of them used their connections to dig up personal stories or find out about schedules.
그게
Or they would even bribe agency staff. It is hard to say no once a relationship is established and money is exchanged hands. That's an awful lot of effort to stalk someone. Surprising, huh? This kind of thing actually happened a lot. I'm sorry I made you uncomfortable.
저기
I'm sorry, I shouldn't have asked. Of course it was about masquerade.
그래.
Please don't make me say that. Yu-hyuk patted Do-yoon on his shoulder.
솔직히
If you go deeper, no one's free from haters.
나는
As for me, the old fans had a change of heart when I made it to the finals. Do-yoon unknowingly bit his lip. The fans who were always there for them since the very beginning. They knew the journey and hardships the band had gone through. Their criticism was especially painful. There were new people. Half and half at the most now. Since the story started to spread, people have been criticizing me as well.
도인아,
I want you to look on the brighter side. I'm saying this now because of S_Singyeon.
그렇다면
What about Hyesung?
아무래도
I think it's about the scandal. Expectations are great and so is the anger from betrayal.
그래.
Yeah. I think we should stop talking about this now.
그럴
It is not a rumor. Well, no, it's nothing more than a rumor, excuse me. No matter how plausible, it is still a rumor. After all, they're all rumors unless validated as facts, right?
그러니까
I agree, we know more about that than anyone.
맞아.
Contestants didn't know the details either. The two of them nodded at each other.
도인아,
I'm not trying to point out whether the rumor is substantial. That is, what S_Singyeon said is identical to the rumor among the contestants. We should consider this too.
네.
Something's definitely wrong here.
맞아.
Something's clearly off. And amongst all things, how would you explain the login failure?
그렇잖아.
Right, I thought I made a mistake at first. Thank God our fatter can only be accessed from each watch.
하여튼
I even asked the staff member to change the password for me, but they refused it by mentioning the
그럼?
policy. If what you said is true, the stalker should be included in our suspect list. I'm pretty sure of it. If not, why would that happen to me?
이야.
Isn't that a lot? I guess not everyone was aware of the identical information. I think there must have been some kind of a qualitative difference. Inha grabbed Yoon's arm while continuing her remarks.
잠깐만.
Hey, wait. I suddenly remember that one of our scriptwriters told me before. I wonder what kind of information she gave away. If it's something that S_Singyeon would mention, then it's a problem.
그렇다니까.
Right. I'm seeing stories that I haven't even mentioned. We're here to join the audition, not to sell our private information. Unfortunately, a very topical thing in this day and age. Inha firmly closed her mouth and frowned. If they are going to pry into our private lives, they should at least handle that information carefully. We shouldn't be discussing this right now. Alright, we can probably end the conversation.
이 얘기를 정리해봐야겠어.
I need to sort out the stories. Alright, we're gonna skip a bunch here. Hyojisa? Are they brother and sister? Or is that just a whole very common last name? It's probably a common last name type situation. How common is as a surname in Korean? Because I remember the surnames usually go first in Korean. And we're gonna say the stalker or S_Singyeon is probably staff. Okay, we've seen this. Very impulsive.
무대 사진. 처음엔 엄청 놀랐는데
I was
지금
really
보면 몰래
surprised to
꺼낸
see the
카드야.
stage photo, but now that I think about it, they did it only because they were cornered.
나름 순발력 있네. 개 놀랐는데.
Can't deny S_Singyeon is quick-witted,
충동적인 만큼 치밀하진 못했다는 건가?
but they were not as meticulous as they were impulsive.
충동적인 거면 뭐가 달라지는데요?
Let's say they acted on impulse. What difference does it make, though? We're gonna talk about the fact that it was before it was made public.
연락한 데는 하나뿐이었어. 같은 소리 하네.
Missed you. Yeah, right.
해보자. 시간이.
Alright, we are... Apologies for the silence for a bit there. Let's call Yunha.
한도윤, 너도 플러그홀 밀어?
Do you support that plug hole guy?
갑자기 무슨 소리야?
What are you talking about?
플러그홀. 페이터에서 S 승연 물어뜯고 있잖아.
Plug hole is wrestling with S_Singyeon on Fatter.
저쪽 말투도 영 더러운 게 독이 독을 잡는 느낌이야.
I don't like his tone either. It's like a dog fight.
그건 그렇지.
In a sense, yeah.
S 승연이 나가 떨어지든가. 자기 말만큼 대단한 놈이 아니면
If S_Singyeon loses and turns out that they were just no one,
그때는 진짜 어떻게 되는 거지?
then what are we going to do?
S 승연이 있는 것만으로도 너무
pres-
불안하긴 하지.
The presence of S_Singyeon is already too much.
그치만 S 승연이 박살나서 없어져 버리면
But what if S_Singyeon is simply a troll?
대체 누구 짓인 거냐고.
Then who the heck really attacked Hyesung?
그러면
Oh yeah, this is about
그렇지.
that fight with Yu-hyuk that was edited to look not really a
그래요.
fight with Yu-hyuk that was edited to look like a fight. You guys are just having a normal conversation. It's not like you can always laugh and be happy when talking to someone. Yu-hyuk shouldn't have lowered himself like that.
그렇지.
It's one of the reasons why I provoked him a bit. You just wanted to know what he really had in mind.
맞아.
Yeah, he later thanked me for that. Ji-young let out a low sigh.
그때
I caught them trying to show something different than the quarrel we had.
그래요?
Something else?
그건
The gossip that circulated on Fatter earlier. I found out they were trying to add that to the episode. That's harsh.
그러니까
At that time, I went to confront Seungyeon myself. I angrily demanded her to give up on that, so she dropped it eventually. I'm surprised she even listened. I was so surprised back then. I'm shocked they actually did let her cut that out.
그럼
They could be an old fan.
어때?
Yeah, either an old fan of Ji-young's or mine.
글쎄,
Well, I never made my debut, so
나는-
actually, most of my former fans turned against me.
그건
That's because of the misunderstanding.
어?
Is that what you believe?
솔직히
What choice do I have? You saved my life. I will always believe you.
저기
You're embarrassing me.
어?
What do you mean? I've always been like this.
Hmm?
When are you going to stop? Probably never.
뭐였더라?
Yoo-hyuk had
그거
trouble
있잖아.
to the end of the preliminaries. Things got really heated at the end of the preliminaries, apparently. Not just us, but also for the viewers.
결국
At the end, we were nearly suffocating one another.
그랬지.
Yeah, we were exhausted both mentally and physically. I knew what to expect from the beginning, but it was a different kind of incident. Yoo-hyuk scratched the tip of his nose.
어쨌든
However, we managed to make it to the finals. Let's see where it has gotten us now.
그건
It was your fault to a certain extent. Lowering yourself blindly doesn't mean that you are respecting the other person.
맞아.
Right, and Ji-young also thought it was that not right. Our discussion might have sounded like an argument.
그게
And they aired it.
아니야.
No, actually, they edited in two different scenes with that one. Completely out of context, that the conversation was edited to achieve what they wanted. They never ceased to surprise me. That's when I realized how dreadful the consequence of editing could be.
하여튼
We saw this already.
그게
And then we want to go how surprised he was here.
혹시
Weren't you surprised? It's like a total stranger came to see you out of nowhere.
맞아.
I was indeed. It's like, oh yeah, that weirdo just starts trauma dumping on him that he doesn't even know. Like, that is crazy. Though Yoon recollected his memories, he watched Yoo-hyuk hunching his shoulders.
그땐
At the time, I didn't know what to say. He just came out of nowhere. I'm sure anyone would have felt the same.
말아
그럴 줄
That kind of job is hard to avoid criticism, especially after when he made a major mistake like that.
맞아.
Of course, he was supposed to be the official account manager. He was actually severely criticized for making that mistake. Ina sighed deeply.
아니야?
It's the account for posting announcements. Imagine how many people saw the message. It was such an explosion of criticism. He explained that he mixed up the official account with his personal account, but people didn't buy it. Everyone thought that there must have been another reason. By then, I couldn't watch it anymore. Again, as I said when we had this conversation before, I would have been cackling the entire day if I witnessed that exchange. Okay, yeah, we've seen this already. The official account manager. That should not have happened. Like, he is a Ji-young stan blatantly. That shouldn't have happened. He was open about being a beloved fan even when he was on the official account.
그러니까.
I know, what would other people think? They thought Beastars intended to shun Hye-sung while supporting Ji-young. Do-yoon broke the silence while nodding.
그러면
Looking at it that way, I believe this was the most serious accident.
그치만.
But surprisingly, the accident was all wrapped up after they posted a statement of apology. The official account manager was replaced instead of getting fired.
그러니까.
That's why timing is important. I just realized how clunky that is. Like, they reassigned him. I think they meant to say reassigned. Like, replacing usually entails getting fired, while the other guy got fired immediately after messing up the profiles.
네?
Well, we know you don't hate Inha.
있잖아.
Say, forget about Hye-sung. What about Inha? I know you don't like Hye-sung, but I'm not sure about Inha. That alone proves that you're not S_Seungyeon. Because S_Seungyeon was
맞아.
also being a bit of an Inha hater. You know me then. Of course not. No way I'd hate Inha.
사실은-
But I actually disliked Hye-sung. You've been supporting us from the beginning.
아니야.
I don't think you disliked Hye-sung enough to hurt him.
네.
Exactly, I'm not the type to hurt anyone. Anyway, our suspect pool is too big at the moment.
그거
그게
I didn't know much about it till now. In my defense, there was no way of knowing.
그래요.
Well, that's true. Even if you had sided with him, it wouldn't have changed anything. It was his fault that he didn't comply with the policy concerning personal accounts. He had also done a few other things in the past. The rest of the staff was busy preparing for the main episodes, but then we had to do his work too. Some staff members complained about having to do more work.
그런
Even then, the staff members were divided on the issue.
네.
You can henpeck at a lazy person, but you can do nothing about a moral. That's what Seungyeon used to say. He must have thought it was unfair, but it was inevitable back then.
그런 편
Someone must have been covering him.
그렇다는
Are you
건
saying someone covered for him? He came back to the position, which means he wasn't fired when he was replaced.
정말요?
I guess Hye-sung reminds you of someone covering for him, huh? Sale pouted with a blank expression on his face.
그치만
Rather, it has more to do with the fact that he was a fatter star. Since he was responsible for the official account, he had many fatter friends. He was just conveying the messages generated internally, but he made such a big deal out of it.
그리고
So even if he made a small mistake, most users acted benevolently towards him. He was a fatter star just like Hye-sung. Although now people criticize him. People want speedy updates. Sale put on a riddling expression on his face. I guess it's all the more confusing now that Seungyeon isn't there to run things. We did see this.
그래도
You learned your lesson, and the issue was resolved before it got worse.
그래.
I was given a warning and that was it. But
그런가요?
what about the staff member who wrote the post? Was he okay too?
그렇지.
Yeah, part of that was my fault for being careless. After finishing her remark, Ji-young wore a puzzled look.
결국
But in the end, the accident happened.
그래요?
Accident. By the way, which staff member spread the post?
그게
It was the youngest staff member.
혹시
Oh, the guy who got fired after the profile accident.
맞아.
Right, even before the accident, he often wrote posts about contestants on the website or fatter. He was probably fired because of that.
도윤아,
Though you don't have a fatter account, do you?
그건
I created an account when I made it to the finals. Actually, it was created by someone else, so I had nothing to do with it.
그렇구나.
That means you only have the official account created for each contestant. It
아무래도
bothers me because I have to keep looking at it. Like right now? Ji-young stared her wrist with a bitter look on her face. So
역시
you know what it feels like having to constantly refresh the fatter page.
그게
Actually, the vocalist in my band was passionate about fatter. He also managed our band account. He was just doing his job in the beginning, but he got hooked on it later on.
그래.
Yeah, as long as you don't overdo it. Ji-young stopped talking and looked down and watched. Underscore Singyan will have to take responsibility for overdoing it.
결국
They all quit when school started again.
그래서
The place looked deserted. I never realized when the place was packed.
그렇지.
It takes that many people to support the show. Feels new, huh? I didn't realize it either when I was in Beloved. I guess I only focus on myself while performing on stage.
네.
I wasn't much different. It was my first time working with so many staff members.
나도야.
I guess we both lacked experience in self-discipline. Ji-young's weak smile suddenly faded. But to imagine S__ Sun-yeon could have been standing among those people, it kind of gives me chills.
확실히
Although I call it petty work, none of it is actually negligible. The show tried to assign excessive work to the inexperienced staff and it caused problems. They used to have enough manpower. They should have thought everything through when they hired short-term workers. 3 or 4 staff members had to handle the work of 10 people.
그러니까
But when an accident happens, the lowest level employee has to take the fall. Same thing with the profile accident, everyone knew what really went on.
결국
It only goes to show the company treats its employees. Ji-young firmly nodded. Ever since, the number of applicants for open positions has dwindled. Who would want to be treated as a disposable worker? Nobody.
나도야.
I saw some of the staff members who came to see Ji-young. Weren't you also visited by some of your fans?
그랬지.
Only briefly in the beginning. The band wasn't that popular, and there was also an incident during the finals. You're being modest. I was really nervous when I first saw you and Ji-young. Both of you had performed on stage before, so I could feel the difference in you. I didn't think I'd make it to the finals. That's not something I want to hear from you. I'm actually complimenting you. Well, thank you then.
그러니까
And that's why I want you to cheer up.
알잖아.
I know what you mean. Let's pull ourselves together. Right, it's not over till we make it out of here safely. And once we do, it's going to be a new beginning for us.
아무래도
There are many fatter users indeed.
그런 것 같아.
That's why there are many fatter accidents. Many of the B-Star staff also seem to use fatter personally.
그게
Accidents happen with the contestants and staff members.
그런데
But there's nothing wrong with expressing yourself on fatter, right?
그래도
But it's a problem if they go too far with excessive information. That's how they gain more attention. Yu-hyuk nodded after a brief pause.
그럴지도.
I guess that's how you end up giving away more information.
올해도
Some people enjoy other people's attention.
맞아.
We are not that different from them. We already gave away lots of information.
그렇지?
Right, including the information which we didn't agree to provide.
어쩌면
Yeah, maybe. S__ Young could be one of them. If he wasn't planning on taking time off school, he could only work for a short term.
나는
I also worked at a lot of part-time jobs to buy musical instruments, and after that, I had to work to buy bigger pieces for my band. What about your school tuition?
그거야.
I just fooled around, didn't really care anything but the band after I graduated.
솔직히
You were into music, that's not irrelevant stuff. Yuhyuk lightly patted Do-yoon. I'm just gonna imagine that he gave him a head pat here. You knew what you were doing.
그게
I had no other talents.
그치만
Keeping your goal unchanged is not as easy as it sounds. Easier said than done, to be honest. Do-yoon slurred his last words. People usually waste time on thinking only. There's nothing wrong with being careful. I think it takes more courage to actually take action. I also took my time while pondering on what to do with my life, and it really sucked.
그 말은
A story behind Beloved's debut concept was leaked to the public.
그건
Ji-young answered the staff's questions about Beloved's debut concept and word got out.
아,
Oh, that. Sale wiped the tip of his nose with the back of his hand.
그리고
Also, the official account manager's mistake was huge.
그랬지.
There were so many accidents. Everyone suspected him of being a hardcore fan of Beloved. Later, it was proven true after his personal account was uncovered. Of course, the viewers who cheered for other contestants weren't happy about it. The fatter manager has no reason to visit the stage.
말도 안 돼.
I guess that's why he was overreacting when he crossed the line. He must be lucky, though, since he never got fired.
그렇죠.
It was right before the
그랬었지.
finals due to the profile accident.
맞아요.
Yes, so you do remember.
그래.
Of course, because it was a big issue, even though it didn't last long. He got fired almost immediately. He did odd jobs around the show, such as managing the computers and devices and briefly managing the official Beastars account.
그러면
What's the story with the staff member who quit his job?
그거야.
He didn't make any trouble when he quit. He worked as an assistant, and he quit because he had to go back to school. That's all I can remember. He had... Alright, this is where I find out who could be S_Seungyeon.
막내 스텝은 지역 예선 끝날 때쯤 들어왔다고 했어. 공식
Right, we can skip all this that we've already seen.
내일
Yeah, send a bait link with the fact about persuading everybody to join Beastars. Because let's reveal our own shit and not other people's. Let him do what he wants. I'll leave it to you. Let's beat the crap out of this loser. It's what we did before, but I love how dramatic it is. And with that, S_Seungyeon is down. Which is when we realize the murderer is probably one of us. Again.
나야.
It was me. I
내가
was the
제일
first
먼저
to see
혜성이를
him.
만났잖아. 갔다 와서 무슨 얘기를 했는지 말해줬고.
And I told you what we talked about after coming back.
도윤아, 나설 필요 없어.
Doyun, you don't need to explain yourself.
그래, 너였네.
Yes, it was you.
다음이 큐.
Next was
두
Kyushyuk.
사람이 다녀와서 비슷한 얘기를 했지.
And you both said the same thing.
둘이 말을 맞추거나 한 건 아닐 테고.
You guys didn't make up your stories, right?
그럴 이유가 없지.
Are you kidding?
이나야, 이제 그만해.
Inha, that's enough.
그냥 생각만 좀 해보려는 거야.
I'm just trying to think. Jiyoung intervened, raising her hands.
얘기해보는 정도는 괜찮다고 생각해.
It wouldn't hurt to talk about it.
혼자 불안에 떠는 것보다
It'd
낫겠지.
be better than trembling in fear all alone.
그치만 너무 딥하게 들어가지 말자.
But let's not go too deep.
몇 시간은 더 기다려야 되는 상황이야.
We have to wait a few more hours in here.
감정 다치고 싸우다 떨어져 나가기라도 하면
If we hurt each other's feelings and someone leaves,
그렇게까지 할 생각은 아니었어.
that is not what I had in mind.
제일 수상했던 놈이 막 퇴장했으니까요.
Aesthetic Singyeon was the most suspicious, but he just departed.
각자 생각이 많아지는 건 어쩔 수 없어요.
Naturally, we're all thinking a lot right now.
그건 나도 마찬가지니까.
Right, I am too. Jiyoung put one hand on the top of her head and slowly took a deep breath.
혜성이 찾았을 때
I considered
벌써
lots
여러
of
가지를
possibilities
따져봤어.
when we found Hyesung. Alright, I think I'm gonna skip this stuff. Let's get things straight this time.
해보죠. 전제가 바뀌었으니까
Let's do
다시
it.
짚어봐요.
We have a different premise now, so we should go over it again.
막연하게 화살 날리는 것보다
It's better
그게
than
낫겠어.
blindly firing at one another.
딴 사람들은 어때요?
What about the rest of you guys?
다 괜찮은 거면 저도 뭐
I'm
굳이 결사반대까진.
I'm not against it if everyone's okay.
이제 와서 빼기도 그러네. 해보자. 해보면 되지.
Can't back off now. Fine, let's do it.
우리가 할 건
What we
생존이지.
want is
수사가
survival,
아니야.
not
그건 조심하자.
investigation. Let's not forget that. None of them. Right, this is where we find out that Sale and Inha are the ones that are sus right now.
얘기를 다시 들어봐요.
Let's hear it again.
자세히 들으면
If you
풀릴
listen-
오해잖아요.
If you listen carefully, you can clear up the misunderstanding.
뭐 그래. 딱지 붙이는 거 완전 사양이거든.
Well, yeah, I hate being labeled.
어쩔 수 없나.
I guess we have no choice. The two nodded their approval. It seemed that nobody wanted this to continue.
오냐. 썰 한번 풀어보자.
Okay, here I go.
그럴 마음이 들었어?
Have you considered it?
극혐이거든. 범죄자 딱지.
I hate being treated like a criminal.
이나 씨가 그렇다면 저도.
If Inha says it's okay,
취조하려는 건 아니야.
I'm not gonna interrogate you.
아는데 강조하니까 아닌 것 같다.
I know, but I don't like how you're emphasizing it.
그럼 찬찬히 얘기해줘.
Then take your time. Alright, because I am not at my usual place of recording, so I am actually just going to end this episode here. This has been Teo Tamara. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next week. Have a good one. Bye.